Hello, and welcome back. You're listening to another brand new episode of Video Ditch. As always, joined by me, Sam, and Nick. And typers, put your hands on that home row because we got
hmm
something real special today. Nick, you want to tell viewers and listeners what we got in store today?
Ever since the introduction of the keyboard, people have wondered, is there something greater we can utilize this tool for? People would type, they would create an email, perhaps. They would put in a URL, maybe some HTML if they felt really crazy with it and wanted a beautiful NeoCities page. But those skills have kind of gone to waste where it matters. They have not gone utilized in a way that really, really matters in the field of gaming, the most important thing of all. So long, we've only utilized WASD and maybe the numpad if you're really crazy. However, today we've got the genius, dare I say, who understands that the keyboard is nothing more than a controller with a lot of buttons, and each one of those buttons has to be utilized. Otherwise, you're just leaving all that meat on the bone, and you're just being wasteful. We've got GIRAMBQUAMB, aka Aiden, the creator of the micro game madcap masterpiece, many, many typing games, and also for those of you in the masochistic platformer sphere, BOINKGAME, two games that I would strongly recommend anyone with a gamer soul check out. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for
Yes,
making this
Aiden.
game.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very, very much for having me.
Absolutely. Yeah, so what's the deal? How did you get into video games to begin with? Why did you start doing that? Was it on purpose?
um, like in terms of like developing, I'd say so. In terms of like gaming,
Yeah.
it was just kind of destined to be. I at a very young age, I played Duck Hunt as the very first game I ever played. Which is a great game to play as like a toddler because it's like, single button, you point at the screen, it's super easy. But from there, I was hooked. I played a lot of NES games back in the day, which is weird because I'm like a late 90s kid.
Mhm.
But I played a lot of like Adventures of Lolo, Super Mario Bros. Uh, and eventually, I got a Game Boy Advance. I got into the world of Pokemon, of old SNES classics. When I was a little older, I got into the indie sphere. I made a Steam account just to play Super Meat Boy. That's kind of where this love of indie games and this kind of
Mhm.
notion that, hey, like people, like regular people, can just make these things, kind of entered my mind.
Yeah, yeah, right on. Okay, very cool. And with those titles, with like the NES and the Game Boy Advance games you were playing, how do you feel like that has affected your taste as you've gotten older with the medium? Do you still gravitate towards things that are kind of snappier experiences over like long form stuff, or
I'd say so. I'm not too. I'll put it this way. I respect games with stories with a lot of narrative, and there are some great games with narrative that I enjoy. But I've always been like a gameplay first kind of guy. I want
okay, yeah,
the core experience to be fun. The best narratives in games I find are ones that are emergent, that come as a result of the gameplay.
hmm
Uh, like one of my favorite games of all time is Spelunky, and
okay,
Spelunky's
yeah,
awesome because you're just going through trying to complete a run, but there's all these obstacles in the way that'll interact with each other in such weird ways. You release the cobra from the vase and he shoots at the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper gets mad. The shopkeeper starts shooting you and you're dead. And
hmm
that's a greater story
It's a
than
great story to tell. Yeah, that just
yeah.
comes from playing the game. Yeah. And fun fact, Nick introduced me to Spelunky like way back in the day. That was
Long,
like,
long
yeah,
time
that was some
ago.
of the games we played
Yeah,
back
I
in
was
the
like, this
day.
game's great. It's not about anything. This game ain't about nothing. This game's about nothing.
No, it's awesome.
That's
It's
great.
to this day one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah. I think
Mhm.
that I would just have Sam play so I could whip him to death and while
Yeah, just whip
laughing.
me like off a cliff. Hey, that's funny.
The co-op is insane in Spelunky. I can't imagine playing co-op because it's
You
just
want to
like
talk about like emergent narratives like
Yeah.
blooming there. Yeah, just add the chaos of another human and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, very good. Okay, with your game, many typing games. Um, it's like niches within niches here. We got micro games and then we got typing games. Do you want to talk about how you got into those kind of subgenres specifically?
It's kind of funny because I feel like it was a complete accident, to be
Really?
frank.
Okay.
I people are gonna torch me for this. I don't play a lot of typing games. Uh,
I don't think
I
that's
never
like
cared for
something
them
to
too
be
much. I find
torched about, you know?
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
think
think
there's very many.
they're
yeah,
lighting their pitchforks as we speak.
my problem with a lot of typing games is that they're quite frankly boring. It's like,
Hmm.
it's either educational, which is like fine for like a child if you're learning to type, but isn't all that engaging as an adult with adult things to do
Hmm.
and adult
Hmm.
things to have fun with. Uh, I've heard good things about Typing of the Dead, but I've never played it, and it seems to me like
It's
it's that same thing, right?
it's like a
Just type
gimmick,
the
yeah.
words.
It doesn't have the mature
Hot
storytelling
take.
of Mario
Wow.
teaches typing, I'll be honest with you.
The typing the dead purists just get in the comments right
Yeah.
now, yeah.
I know. It's
I've
you
heard
can type F word. It's
Yeah, they,
mature.
they put a keyboard on his back. It's so cool. Okay, oh, very
uh,
good.
In terms of like micro games, I played WarioWare for the first time just a couple of years ago, and I loved it. To be frank,
Hmm.
it's amazing, and it's a fun like design paradigm where it's like you have such minimal instructions, and you just have to kind of figure it out as you go. There's a YouTuber I watched, Matthew Matosis, described it as
Oh
the
yeah.
only game that can get away with like pointing the other way or pointing you away and then saying, "Hey, catch," and then like you've got to turn back around and catch something, right?
Hmm.
Like a
Hmm.
lot of games don't get the chance to do that because they want you to be in control. Whereas WarioWare, it's very much like at any given moment you have to figure out what the fuck is going on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's very much flying by the seat of your pants with the game.
Yeah, and that's to be like
Mhm.
simultaneously confusing and intuitive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's very hard to design that way. Like, I don't know if we're getting super into like my game yet, but just this notion of like I've got to show the player like a mini game with just like a title and whatever feedback I can give in the moment. But they've still got to, at the end of the day, figure out what the hell I'm asking them to do,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and that's
In
very hard to design for.
in the development phase, was there anything you were like, oh, this mini game is fantastic, people will get it, someone try it out, and they just completely bombed it, no idea what's going on?
This still happens. People hate the text adventure.
Really?
Oh, it's
That's
so
my
cool
favorite
though.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
I,
neat.
I that's how I know you guys are gamers because the problem a lot of people have with the text adventures, they type like a paragraph into the parser and like nothing happens
Oh,
because I haven't
Idiot.
like
No, no,
no.
no.
Just go to room, go to bathroom.
Yeah, you gotta
yeah.
gotta go on homestarrunner.com. You gotta play Die Dungeon Man. Then you'll get a taste for it.
And mind you, that's still a bit of a like whether you know how to play a text adventure or not, it's still a bit of a problem in that I didn't do the greatest job giving players like the perfect feedback if they've typed something the parser doesn't quite understand. But like,
Totally.
I don't know what else I'm gonna do, right? Like, if you're typing like, go down hall into bathroom, like it's not gonna understand.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it is a little esoteric, I suppose, for people who've never played those games. But like for me and Sam, those who know, it's fantastic, especially because those old Sierra games, they are really insanely stringent with the vocabulary. You do have
Hmm.
to type kind of like a caveman who just kind of figured out how to string words together.
Very much like ugh get rock,
Yeah,
rock
literally,
Yeah,
bonk.
bonk
exactly.
rock. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't get this? Does this make sense to you? Come on.
Hmm. Okay, and for clarification's sake, for the viewers and listeners that don't know, your role with this project, are you a solo dev? Are you the
Hmm.
lead? Would you describe your role with the game? Just to everybody real
Uh,
quick.
I'm very much there's a very long credits page if you type credits on the main menu, but
Hmm.
to be frank, I did basically everything. I
Hmm.
did all the coding, I did all the art, I did all the music. The
Okay.
art is a little iffy because there's a lot of like Creative Commons zero images, like things that I edited in Photoshop.
Sure.
But it's still stuff that I had to assemble myself.
Hmm. Hmm.
I did all the programming, the music. The most help I had was from a very, very smart friend of mine would for two of the games wrote like some pseudo code for me to then translate into what I needed it to do because I'm not like an amazing programmer. I'm not an awful one, but I'm no expert.
Fair, fair. Always learning, yeah. Okay. Very cool. And I guess, when did your relationship with game dev begin? And what did that look like those early days?
it's funny. I dabbled in it like the littlest bit in like high school and university. I majored in multimedia in university, which is a very antiquated way to say media arts. So I'm experienced with a lot of like different software for digital art. I love
Okay.
doing like digital audio, things like that. But games was always something I dabbled in a little, and it's something I grew to love more and more post graduation because it's very much the only medium where I get to do like everything that I'm good at. I get to, do the art, I get to do the programming, I get to do the music and sound effects, and get them all together into like one big experience. I guess to truly answer the question, I first started in like Pygame in like high school. I don't know if you guys know Pygame.
Oh, like the
It's
Python programming
yeah,
thing?
it's like a framework for Python games.
Hmm.
That was just because I had to do it for like a high school programming class, but I had a lot of fun with that because when you're working in like a framework, you're kind of coding everything from the ground up. Like if you just launch Pygame with nothing in it, it's just a blank window.
Sure. Yeah.
Uh, so you're building it from like the ground up. I played a bit in Love 2D as well as a teenager. Probably the only notable game I can think of from that is Balatro. But
Oh.
it's fun. I dabbled in a bit of Unity, but it wasn't until university I learned Godot
Hmm.
in a game programming course, and I fell in love with it. Uh, Post university, like I taught kids how to program, which I shouldn't be saying after I say I'm not a good programmer, but luckily the
I just
basics of
gave him really
something I
shaky
got down.
foundation. Yeah.
uh, but I taught kids programming, and it was like game oriented, still teaching them the basics, but eventually they would move on to Unity, and I learned how much I fucking hate Unity. Uh,
Okay.
it's fine. It's a great engine. It does a lot. It's got a lot of support, but it to like a newcomer, to somebody who hasn't worked in a game engine before, it doesn't make a lot of sense compared to Godot. Like Godot is very clear cut. Like everything's
I've
a
heard it's
node in the
intuitive.
scene.
It's described
Yeah,
as
yeah,
such.
that's the
Yeah.
word. And I guess like after graduating university, I learned about Godot. I was teaching kids code, and I thought to myself like I could code something, and that's what led to me making BOINKGAME.
And how
Yeah,
long ago
that's
was that? Yeah.
That was God, my memory is so hazy nowadays, but I feel like that was like just before 2020, maybe like 2019,
Okay.
2020.
Okay.
Uh, I took a
Oh,
month
different
just to
world.
make.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly.
Remember
I,
that? Remember pre-2020? I
God.
see.
But yeah, I took a month to make this horrible masochistic platformer that people would
yeah.
hate themselves. Uh, and it was that experience of like starting it, like start to finish, all in a month that I kind of realized like I can just do this. Like that's kind of crazy, but because like I'd never like released a game, I'd never like had a project that I'd finished. So to put something out into the world, it got me hooked.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's like the best feeling. I've heard other people describe it as just being
Mhm.
like the most fulfilling. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Okay. Well, very cool. Nick, you got any questions about the gaming past before we move into
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So would you say that from all these things, the games you played and your experiences and your first game is how has that shaped your gaming philosophy?
It's a good question because my true gaming philosophy, I feel like, is that all games are worthwhile. All games are like art.
Hmm.
Whether it's made by like a big company and it's some soulless like, MOBA or like, hero shooter, or it's made by like some guy in his bedroom and he's throwing it on itch to zero people. It's all worthwhile. Uh, when it comes to designing games myself, I have thoughts on what I like to see in a game.
hmm
Uh, I'm very inspired by like games with a lot of like communities behind them. I played a
Hmm.
lot of Mario Maker 2. I think it's like my second most played game of all time. And people would make like insane levels, whether it's like Kaizo or like troll levels.
Hmm.
The troll levels get a bad rep, but they're so good. People use these like subversion of expectations. Like, you hit a block and it triggers a contraption that does something wacky. A wiggler
Yeah.
falls out of the ceiling and his butt hits you. And
Yeah.
that's the kind of stuff that I really take with me is this notion of like subverting expectations or doing things that are surprising or emergent. Things that a lot of game developers are scared to do, quite frankly, especially like big
Mm.
companies. Nobody would want to publish BOINKGAME because BOINKGAME is something that's like, hard as balls. It's
Mm.
frustrating. It's annoying. The sound effects are annoying. It's all meant to wear you down.
Oh yeah, it's very abrasive. I actually, when I was playing it, I thought that you put in like the sound of a fan whirring or something to make me go crazy. I didn't even realize that it was just like in my house. I was like, this guy's made like the perfect like schizophrenia simulator in this game.
No, and I think it's worthwhile to be daring like that. Not in terms of making money off the game or being successful with it, but in terms of putting something out there that's uh your own. I
Yeah, it
think
challenges conventions, totally.
yeah.
Very cool. With what you're describing of Boink Game, and then with what I've seen, or Boink Game, excuse me.
Boy, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, and many typing games. There's a lot of like levity in your work, and I appreciate that. Um, with well, I suppose with that, are there any games in particular that have senses of humor that have stuck with you or inspired you
Oh yeah.
with what you're
Was it
creating?
is it more from the
Um
YTP sphere that you say you draw your comedy from?
yeah. No, I have a history in like YouTube poop, YTPMV, and that stuff's got like its own brand of kind of silly remix humor.
Hmm.
Uh I mentioned like the Mario Maker troll levels are like a big inspiration.
Yeah,
And this one's at a left field, but I think Dark Souls. Dark Souls is one of my favorite games of all time,
I
and I
love
think that
this.
game's got like an amazing sense of humor that nobody seems to appreciate as a sense of humor.
Hmm.
I think that getting out of the depths, one of the most awful, horrible locations in the game, only to be into Blight Town, I think that's genius. Because Blight Town is even worse. It's awful. It's horrible. And I think that's something that again, like people are scared to do this kind of anti-reward, but
You
it's
kind of
it's
slap the
so
player in the
Hmm.
face.
it's hilarious and
It
it's
is.
like it's different, you know?
Yeah, I
And it
see.
sticks out. Yeah, that's why it stands out. People love it. They love the pain. Everyone's a bit of a masochist, and it really appeals to that sensation inside people, whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Did the reception to Blunt Game surprise you at all? Or were you like, this is what I expect, the amount of positivity or, pushback that people were sharing?
It's about what I expected in the sense that it's got like something like 10 reviews on Steam and they're
Hmm.
positive. Like a lot of people I know, they're kind about it. A lot of them will leave a positive review and then the review will read something like, fuck you, die. Which is only fair for one
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
But it was received like decently well when I would like post about it. Like people like it in concept. I don't know
Mhm.
if people like it as much in gameplay, but that's their problem, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah,
Hmm.
different strokes, certainly.
People want to see their favorite streamer play it and start screaming and smashing their head against the keyboard and that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
Yeah.
good.
All right. Well, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into what exactly led to the creation of many typing things
Exactly.
going from there.
Yeah,
How did that go from the seed to what it is today?
it's funny. I mentioned I used to teach at an after school program. I would teach
Mm.
kids how to program, and they were my major play testers for Boink Game. Funny enough, they're not very
Cruel.
good at children.
I feel like that's
It's
I
like
don't
a
know.
baby chewing
that's
on
fucked
the
up.
controller.
Here you go, kid.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's
But
great.
I realized like these kids, they're sat in front of like laptops for the hour session they're in, and I had an idea, just to write like a simple little Godot program that would test how fast the kids could mash on the keyboard. Uh, I just wanted to like make like a leaderboard on the whiteboard, and like the kids would mash, and they'd see who's got the best time, who's got the best mashing speed, things like that. And it was like a little bit after that. Like, I made the program, kids tried it. We made a leaderboard on the whiteboard. And I thought about it and I was like, well, there's other like fun little games you could do with typing. Just like, it wasn't so much supposed to be educational. A lot of people ask me if my game's supposed to be educational when they learn like, that it's a typing game. And I have to say, like, no. It started out as a keyboard mashing game. Of course it's not educational. But there was this notion that like you could do a bit more with like little mini games than just mashing on the keyboard. You could have like a fill in the phrase, the classic, but you could theme it fun. Funny enough, the very first like proper mini game I made was the one where you harass the developer.
Oh yeah.
Because I just thought it'd be funny to make the player type things like I'm gonna post your address or you're stinky and dumb, poo
Yeah,
poo
yeah, I hate you. Your
smell.
game
Like,
sucks. Yeah.
it's just it's funny in concept because you play like a game like Typing of the Dead, or you play like an educational typing game, and it's just getting you to type like normal sentences that are boring as
Mm,
hell.
very dry.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it started with like a lot of games like that. I think one of the other first ones I made was the one where you cast the spell as the witch. So you're just
The
typing
witch.
this
Yeah, yeah.
weird like magic phrase. I'm trying to think what else I did like early on. The quick draw with the monkey, and you've
With
got
the
to type the
monkey and the
three-letter
dynamic.
word
Yeah.
really fast. The kids loved that one. They never won that one, but they loved it.
Okay. Okay.
Kids love chimps, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And
Oh,
and from there, I kind of realized I'm like I've got all these typing games. Like this is just WarioWare. If, as long as they play
Mm.
back to back to back, this is WarioWare. So I just kind of went for it.
yeah.
Okay, so it was pretty much the from the idea to the creation of many, many typing games. It's kind of steady throughout. There weren't any major changes to it or even to the mini games themselves.
Not really, funny enough.
Mm.
Like I looked back at some old footage pretty recently, and it was like, it started out and it looked very ugly. It was like just good old like sample text default font, like
Yeah.
mash on the keyboard. But once I like kind of had the idea and I uh realized what I was making, I very quickly went to like the back end stuff. Like this is like the signal that starts the game. This is the signal that stops the game,
Mm.
win or lose. This is how you transition between games. And I built that foundation because I frankly I knew I had like a decent idea, so I knew I needed like that foundation to support it. Uh, Compared to something like BOINKGAME, where I wrote like 99% of the code in the player controller script, I learned that maybe I should, build a foundation if I've got like an idea,
Mhm.
and it went from there. It very much was the first like 90% of working on this game was just adding a mini game every time I got the time to.
Mhm.
Yeah. Very good. Did you always have that amount of categories, like the division of genres of minigame from the start, or did you have like more that you had to end up cutting because of just, the dev cycle?
Funny enough, the categories came quite late into
Oh, yeah.
development. That was very much right before I was in the Steam Next Fest in October of last year.
Hmm.
And I realized that like, the player needs to feel like a sense of progression for like a demo or for the game in general, because at first it was just like, here's the entire list of mini games, have fun. But
Yeah.
to divide it up a bit more kind of gives the player like a sense of progression. Like you get higher scores on different playlists, unlock more playlists, get to try new mini games. Uh, in terms of like scrapped like mini games themselves, I really didn't have that many that didn't make the cut. There
Nice.
were a
Yeah.
few, but I very much like I waited until like an idea was kind of just fully formed. I took so many notes. They're scattered across like three different software and five different notebooks. But I would have like an idea basically fully formed for a mini game, and I would just crank it out once I had the idea.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was that process like? Was it like you have like a theme, like, oh, this is gonna be some kind of spooky, haunted roommate situation, and then that um that leads to what gameplay avenue you're deciding on? Gameplay avenue. It's funny to say, but it's just like how you type the thing. But I guess yeah, because it's just so varied,
Mhm.
and I think
Mm.
that's much of the game's strength. I'm just
No, a
curious,
lot of that
like the peak behind there.
it definitely comes from like the variedness comes from the fact that I came up with ideas in a very varied way, right? Like I sometimes I would just have an idea of the gameplay first. Simple ones would be like fill out the phrase. Uh, like for example, the one with like the spotlights, the big reveal. It's like
Hmm.
Mm,
shining around the text, and you gotta like find the text. I didn't really have the theme for that one set, but I did like the idea of like text that's like partially visible and moving
Hmm.
around so that you can
okay.
figure out the word as you go, and then that leads to the theming of like stage lights and like words related to theater.
Yeah.
Um, but then other games, I would definitely have like the idea first. I or like the theming idea first. Like the one where you like scream, you like hold down just like
Right.
a vowel and you're just
Yeah.
screaming. Uh, I just really wanted a game that was loud and bombastic. A game that was spooky. It was kind of like jokingly spooky. The ghost pops up and it's made of like cardboard or whatever.
Hmm.
Uh, and it was from there that I'm like, well, you scream with vowels, maybe not oh very often, but hell, let's include that too, and let's just make
Yeah.
a game where you hold down a vowel in the shift key.
Yeah, it sounds like yeah, pretty easy. So like you just have the idea, you're able to
Yeah.
bring it to
It's
life, and
awesome.
it's just a fun thing. I mean, I do appreciate and I really enjoy also a lot of the mini games that are like really steeped in that kind of internet culture, like the harassing you online or fitting in with the Twitch chat. That was when I did not get it all at first because like oh in Twitch chat I'll just be like Pog or something. It's like die
Yeah,
idiot. This
yeah.
everyone
Why
point and
would you
laugh at
say
this guy.
that? Ban
Yeah,
this guy
this
immediately.
guy's cringe. I was like, what the? It's just like real life. But yeah, those are like I I think you've done a good job of making the mini games not just fun to like figure out and play, but also fun and funny to fail as well. So I wanted to keep playing. It gave me that drive to keep seeing what's going on, even though I was kept fucking up over and over.
That makes me very, very happy to hear because that was like kind of the core design philosophy is that if you lose, if you can't figure out the mini game, you should A kind of get why you failed and B be able to laugh that you failed.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It's not supposed to be like a bad thing losing necessarily, right? It's supposed to be like a learning experience, and if I can make it like funny, why not?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the perfect way to go about it. With you win is funny, if you lose it's funny, but only one makes the counter go up. So go for winning, but losing is worth it just to see it.
Yeah. As far as balancing difficulty goes, what were the challenges there? When you first started implementing these games, did you find that the timer was like too generous or not enough? Was it a pretty quick process, kind of nailing it down to like what the game is now?
Truly, the difficulty balancing, and I think this shows a little. It was very vibes based.
Mm.
The timer for the games, I would often just kind of ballpark and then write the song for the mini game, and then I'd be like, well, I'm stuck with this timer, so I guess I'd better make sure the game works well at this length.
Okay, man.
Uh,
Okay.
Yeah.
which is not a
Very
great way to go
cool.
about it.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd
There's
very
love to hear
definitely
it.
gonzo, yeah.
Yeah.
there's
Inspirational
definitely like
stuff.
there's a notion that like there's trickiness to balancing a game like this. Like some of the mini games, people do point things like this out. Like some of the mini games are absolutely gimmies. Like once you know how to beat them, like you're never gonna fail it again. Whereas
Mm.
other ones, like the shopping list is a prime example where as the timer speeds up, it gets really hard to type all that,
Mhm.
random shit. Uh so truly, like, I wouldn't even say I necessarily like fully succeeded in difficulty balancing, but I'm also kind of accepting that that's okay because not everything has to be like perfectly in balance. Sometimes
Mhm.
you're on like a crazy run and you're relieved that you get the mini game where you just don't reply to a text, you type nothing on the keyboard.
Yeah.
Ghost this guy. Yeah.
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 Very good.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Um, but yeah, sometimes a bit of imbalance is for the greater good as far as like a game's enjoyment goes.
Hmm.
Um, okay. You do all the music for the game.
Yeah.
Very cool. Um, just brief background with music, is that something that you've has always been a part of your life, or is that something that you got into doing when you started, making uh more things in like the game dev sphere?
I definitely I hate calling myself things in general, but I'll be brave today and say that I am a musician.
Hell
I'm
yeah. Own
self-taught.
it. You earned it.
Uh,
Yeah. Very
No,
good.
I mostly do like composing on the computer. I'll use like
No,
Reaper
totally.
to
Yeah.
assemble things. I've been getting into like synthesizers recently, which is fun. But
Mm.
I've always been like a big music appreciator, and when you appreciate music enough, you think to yourself like, I can just do this myself. Nobody's making the shit I want to hear, so I'll make it. Uh, so
Yeah.
that's been a part of my life for quite some time now, longer than game dev, I'd say. Even I've
Okay,
been
yeah.
just writing out tunes since I was like a teenager. Uh,
Very nice.
it's awesome. I love music. It's such a massive part of my life.
Very good.
Yes. I think this is great. Yeah, the music really strengthens the micro games. If they were completely silent, I think the game would be an 80, an eighth of as fun
And
without the
this one.
music. Yeah.
Well, that's a big
So,
part too, right? Is like you've got all these different mini games that if I'd put like stock music or if I didn't put my all into them, it wouldn't quite shine. And that was like part of the
mm,
goal is make the music like fit each game. Like some
Hmm.
tunes are so simple. The chess mini game comes to mind where it's just like a like chromatic piano going up and down. But it really adds to that like, oh shit factor of like I've got to make like a legal chess move. What the hell is he asking me? Why is this
Yeah.
part of the game, you know?
Very good. Um, Gosh, I'm trying to articulate a question specifically about the music. Give me 1 second, please.
I believe in you.
it's true. Sam's
Appreciate
a
it.
musician.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's like I was mentioning kind of before we got on camera, just the personality that you've injected into the game feels very like sincerely offbeat and quirky. When I guess when composing the music, um, with the process there, did you have instruments picked out beforehand, or was it like I have a melody and I'm gonna work with that and then choose the instrumentation after that? Or did you have those specific kind of like uh, voices picked out beforehand?
Much like the mini games themselves, it was all very sporadic and vibes based. Like sometimes
I
I'd
love
have
that.
like an idea of like,
Yeah.
this is a spooky mini game. It's got to be spooky. So I would just try a bunch of different like sounds until something fit right. Uh, in terms of like a lot of people point out like the game's got a bit of a motif to it in like the menus and the losing and
Hmm.
winning theme with that funny little voice, and that's just like a contact like sample that I liked. I thought it fit
Yeah, no,
well. I
yeah,
thought it was
totally.
funny. Somebody actually pointed out to me, I had no idea, I've never played it, but apparently that same sample is used a lot in Cult of the Lamb.
Mm. I'll have to keep my ear
Hey,
out. Yeah,
you're the
yeah.
real lamb head, I
Let's
know.
do it again. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've been playing it recently. Very good. Um, oh, just went right out of my head. That question. I'll recover. I'll recover. Or not.
And
You
I
can
could
ask your
talk
question real quick, Nick.
Hmm. What's up?
I could talk a bit more about like inspiration for music too, because that's
Yeah,
like a
no.
big part of,
Yeah.
of writing music, right? Is all music is plagiarism, truly. Like you just like
Yeah.
especially for a game like this that has such a varied style. Like I took inspiration from so many different types of music to try to write things. Like I think the three big examples of like kind of the variedness of the music is the gamer tag one is very funny. That's like got all like the dubstep kind of
Yeah.
like growling basses, trying to channel that kind of like Mountain Dew montage
Yeah.
parody
Gamer
sort of.
fuel. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
totally.
No scope.
Hmm.
Then compare that to the crossword, which is very like it's like a violin playing its strings. It's meant to be like dainty and like sophisticated. That I actually, funny enough, I very much got the inspiration from that. There was a YouTuber called Sam Anella who would do just videos about like history or science and stuff, and his intro
Mm.
was just this like classical piece of music that had like a violin doing like arpeggios, and that's like I heard that and I'm like, oh, that would fit like really well in the crossword. And then the third one is like the meme, where you make the meme, and it's got like the laughing voices. That's actually me singing in that. Funny
I was gonna
enough.
ask about the voices. Yeah, when there is like vocalized audio, is that all you? Like when you're playing
It was all me.
tic-tac-toe?
Yeah, it's just the meme where it's like the laughing. The inspiration from that was like there's an episode of SpongeBob that has like a theme where they're just laughing.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, the tickle belt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the
And
man.
that was the inspiration for that. I did the vocals on the smiling mini game. That's me in like horrible
Okay.
high falsetto that I had to auto
Oh yeah,
tune.
that one's great. Yeah, making the smiley.
Yeah, that might be my favorite song in the game, truly.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gonna release all those on Bandcamp or Spotify, or does that already happen?
They are out on Bandcamp. All
Oh
the
wow.
tracks. You can
Amazing.
buy the album.
All right. Everyone go out and listen to those. Maybe you'll find a new favorite track to listen to for the rest of your life. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah.
so at the end of the day, at the end of the game, what do you want people to feel when they've gone through a nice session of many typing games? What do you want people to have in their mind when they turn it off finally?
Yeah, it's funny. I was warned about this question in a sense. Like I knew this one was coming, and I still don't know if I really have an
We ask
answer.
everybody.
Like
Yeah.
it's very much like there's no greater meaning to it. There's no big
Mm,
overarching story to it. I just want people to have had fun. I think games, fun is like subjective, and fun is not the be all and end all for video games. But when it comes to many typing games, I want people to have a grand old time. I want people to stream it over Discord to their friends and laugh together at it. I want people
mm.
to bust out the Steam Deck. It's on there's like a Linux port. You can hook up like a USB
Oh,
keyboard to your Steam Deck and bring it to the function. And if you don't get
Hmm.
laughed out, you'll be laughing at the game,
I could only imagine trying to play that with the on-screen keyboard too. That'd be a whole trial in
You
itself.
can.
That'd be so
Yeah.
crazy.
I don't recommend it, but you
Oh,
absolutely can. It
Oh,
works.
great.
yeah. Great. So yeah, just smiles all around. Smiles across America, maybe even other nations too, is the main goal of
Yes.
many typing games.
Hmm.
Yes. Canada's allowed. Mexico's allowed. You're all in. Why
Everyone's
not?
everyone's allowed.
You
Yeah.
got a keyboard, you're allowed to smile playing this game.
I sure
All
hope
right.
Canada's allowed. That's where I am.
Yeah, perfect. Only in Toronto though.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Vancouver. I don't know. Yeah, so now the game's out, it's shipped, people are enjoying it. What's next for you as a game developer or as a human artist? What's your next plan of attack? What's your next idea?
It's a tough question to answer truly, only because I was gracious enough to I was graced by my boss at my full-time job at a warehouse that I was working 3 days a week to get this game out, as opposed to like a full-time position.
Hmm.
The game's out, and now I'm back to full-time work. It's
Mm,
a lot of my time. It's a lot of my energy. It's hard to imagine myself tackling a project as big as many typing games. It took me I always say it took me 3 years of on and off work. Like I didn't work on it for 3 years straight. That's you know,
sure.
but it did take me like a lot of time and a lot of
Mm.
effort. And to do something like that again sounds horrifying. But I know that I'm gonna
Understandable. Yeah.
have to. Like I have too many ideas. I would love to do like a content update for it as well. Like add some new
That's gonna be
mini
one of my
games.
next
Yeah,
questions.
that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, get some new mini games in there. Expand the leaderboards a little bit. Uh, that's a big kind of sooner step I'd like to take. But I'm very bad at committing to things. I like to do a lot of different things. So and just in like the last month since I kind of stopped doing the bug fix updates, I've mostly just been writing music.
Mm,
And I'd like to get a lot of music written because I love to do it. But
Hmm.
in the further future, I very much I have a pretty vaguely concrete idea for a game that I'd really like to make. Uh, I don't know if it's the type of game that would be as like mass marketable as like a mini game collection. I don't think it's going to be as non marketable as something like Boink Game, but it's going to be somewhere in the middle that
mm,
I don't think it's going to be as big of a hit, but I do think that people will trust that I've built up some goodwill and that I've got a good idea for a game.
mm.
Very
It'll be
exciting.
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, uncompromisingly
Yeah.
so. That's the most important thing.
Oh,
All right. Yeah,
very cool.
fantastic. And
Yeah.
for anyone listening who wants to get into the game development sphere or even creating anything, frankly,
Yeah.
is there anything you'd want to say to someone who's maybe afraid to take that leap and try? and do
Actually,
anything.
I wrote down a little notepad thing for this because I have a lot of thoughts on the creative
Oh,
process.
beautiful. Cue the
Perfect.
music, everybody.
Truly, and this goes for anything creative. This goes for music. This goes for game development. This goes for 3D modeling. It goes for whatever. If you're like an up and comer, if you want to get into this sort of stuff, you have to make a lot of shit. You have to make so much shit. Uh, Small stuff, keep it small, but just make a lot of it. You have to be able to finish it as well. That's a skill that you need to practice, is being able to finish something. That's
Mhm.
why, scaling things down is very important. If you can't finish something, at the very least, like learn something from it. Uh, Take something from what you've made and move it on to the next thing. Uh, in a more like game dev oriented sphere, don't watch the YouTube tutorials. Don't just follow a YouTube tutorial. That shit sucks. Dive right in. Open up Godot, open up Unity, open up whatever you're making your game in, and just make something until you hit a wall. When you hit a wall, just look up exactly how to get past that wall. Nothing else. I think the problem with a lot of like YouTube tutorials is that they teach you how to make the YouTube tutorial. They don't teach you
Mhm.
how to use the
Mm.
software, how to make things on your own. They teach you how to make what's in the video. Uh, and otherwise, again, in the game dev sphere, the last thing, I know I'm just kind of rattling off advice here, but
It's good.
you will never make any money making games, especially as a solo developer. Even as a team, you will statistically never make money doing this. But do it anyway. Do it because you love to do it. Don't do it because you want to chase a trend. Don't do it because you want to become like a smash indie hit. It's not going to happen. Do it because you have a passion for it. If you don't have a passion for it, then do something else, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. The love of the game or not at all.
Exactly. Ah, well,
Yeah,
Aiden, we think you've got something very special, very unique
absolutely.
on
Yeah.
your hands. Yeah.
Like I said right before we even started talking, I was so glad your game was good.
Thank God it's fun.
I was
It
very,
would
very
feel
happy.
embarrassing to come here and it was just like a
I-
dog shit game.
yeah, just
Oh
like,
yeah,
yeah,
so it's a great
so
game you made.
you made a game,
Ah.
yeah, it's playable.
We love
Yeah,
it. Very
fantastic.
good.
The community, they're ravenous for your
We
knowledge.
do
They've
we
got a lot
do
of
have
questions.
some community Q&A. I have
Hmm.
one last question about the game before we get into the community questions because we kind of brought it up. Did you at all think about the social element that this game would kind of inherently have when making it? Because I feel like it's a very fun game to be like, hey, come over here and like see if you could,
Yeah.
type this out faster than I can or anything like that.
No, no, absolutely. This is why like it was apparent to me very early on because I was showing it to like kids in like a classroom,
Mhm.
and like one kid would be playing it, the rest are supposed to be like doing some work. This kid had a bit of break time, but everyone would slowly like, come over and see what they're doing because it was just so
Mhm.
bombastic and thrilling to watch, I suppose. And then a lot of the playtesting I did, I didn't have like official playtesters. I would just like send the game to friends and they would like stream it on Discord, or they would come over and they'd try it on my TV, and everyone would have a laugh whether they were playing or not. So it very much I think a bad way to put it would be that it's very much a streamer game. But I think the good way to put it, like you said, is it's a very like social game. It's a game that
Mhm.
people get to enjoy together, despite the fact that there's no multiplayer, because it commands so much, humor and fun times.
Mhm.
There's a lot of keys on here. You just gotta like homebrew some rules. Like I'll divide this half of the keyboard, you got
Yeah,
the other half.
I'll take
One of this is the
ASDF.
hand. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, thank you. I suppose now we can move into the community Q&A. So as
Mhm.
always, community members, thank you guys for dropping in and gracing us with your wonderful questions.
Oh yes, it's always a joy. Yeah,
Do you
starting
want? Yeah, there we go.
with Donnie. I think you already
Friend of the
kind of
show.
friend of the show, friend in real life
Friend in real
even.
life.
Did you know that Mavis Beacon is a fictional character?
I truly did not. I don't know much about Mavis Beacon is the funny
Yeah,
thing. Like I know she's got the typing game.
yeah, she
Uh,
teaches typing.
I truly, I kind of just always assumed she was real because, like, why would she have her own typing game if she wasn't?
Hmm.
But
I know it's all a
I
big scam. It's all
guess.
fraud, turns out.
She's not even a
So
real person?
I'm
Oh,
gonna assume you did not see the documentary from 2024.
I
I
certainly
did
did.
not know.
Yeah, I mean, either. I mean, who knows? Could be the next smash hit, next big expose, like content cop on Mavis Beacon that we're all missing out
Eh,
on. All
all
right, well
right.
that's everything
Oh,
from Donnie.
yeah, thank you, Donnie. And now coming in from Antoids. I love reading Antoids questions. Did
Yeah,
you
make sure you.
experience a massive cortisol spike when you got brutally keymogged by number 2 ranked typing program Typing of the Dead?
Truly, this isn't really an answer to this question, but there is a concern that people who really do like typing games are not gonna like my typing game, because it's not a you know usual typing game. It's
Hmm.
not the kind of thing that people who seek out typing games are really prone to playing. It's more for people who want a bunch of funny mini games and have a
Mhm.
keyboard. Uh, so
I
I
don't
guess
know.
to
I
answer
feel
the
like,
question,
oh, yeah, go ahead, continue before I give my thought.
I mean, to answer the question truthfully, yes, because people who play typing games have been dominating the leaderboards, and like I made the game, I can't beat their scores. That's horrifying.
Damn.
It's-
I mean, for someone who's bad at typing, I feel like if I play more of this, I'm gonna get better. You know,
yeah, a little
like
bit, at least
a
at
little
the
bit.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, people have said that playing my game has made them a faster typer, which is insane to me because it was never supposed to do that. But I guess if it does, then that's awesome, you know?
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
like the
It's like
Matrix.
that sense of panic. You have to learn or
Yeah,
die.
exactly. Yeah. Next question from Antoids is, what is the most worn down key on your keyboard?
You skipped one.
Oh, I don't think I did. I don't think I skipped anything.
Most worn down key on my keyboard. Truly, I lucked out. I bought like a pretty nice like mechanical keyboard like 5 or 6 years ago that's just like stood the test of time. Like it's dirty as hell. It's got white keycaps, so it looks disgusting. But it's funny enough, the mashing mini game where you're playing as the cat, that's my keyboard he's mashing on. I just took a picture
Mm.
of it. Uh like none of the keys are worn down. It's all in great condition. The letters look all fine. If I had to guess, it'd probably just be the space bar by the amount I've pressed it, but
Hmm.
it's
Certainly.
perfectly fine.
Yeah. On a
There you go,
side note,
Antoids.
are you are you the type of person to really get into like the uh the tactile nature of their keyboard, like the springiness of a key? Does that really matter to you, or not really?
It doesn't matter too much, but like when you type on like a pretty nice mechanical keyboard, I couldn't even tell you what switches I have in mind. Probably like brown or something. Like they're pretty quiet, but like they're clacky. And it feels nice. And then going to like a membrane keyboard feels like shit. But like overall, it's not like I'm not like into it.
But you can
Mm.
appreciate it.
Oh,
I
for
get it.
sure.
For sure. Okay. Right on. Well, Nick, take the next ones.
Yeah, from that one buns. When you were making the settings panel navigatable by typing, were there any unique considerations you had to make for design?
Uh, a couple for sure. For the most part, like most the typing commands are just like sending the signal to do whatever it does when you press the button, right? Like, I've
Mm.
just got to have like a shortcut for things. So you've got a play button, you type play, it basically just hits the play button. But it's a little more difficult in something like the settings menu, where you've got like options to like enable colorblind mode. If your keyboard can't hold too many keys at the same time, there's like an option to change one of the mini games that expects that of you. And there's like a typing shortcut for it, but you have to like hover your mouse over the option to learn what that shortcut is. And I don't really have like a much better way of doing that, unfortunately.
Mm.
But there was like the notion of just being able to navigate the entire menu with the keyboard was pretty important to me because it's a game about typing. I want the player to type if they want to type. Uh, and it kind of surprises me how many players do navigate the menu completely via typing. I thought most players would click the buttons, but a lot of them like to type.
It's so
And
inviting when you have
Yeah,
that
from the
bar at the
get-go.
bottom. It's like, well, I might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And a great benefit of that too is that there's a lot of little like secrets in the game, like secret playlists, cheat codes, secret difficulties, and you can
Really?
only access those by typing into the bar there.
Hmm.
That is exciting.
Yeah, so you get rewarded for engaging with the medium in the right way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it reinforces everything thematically too. Very
Mhm.
fun. We talked about any mini games that got cut. I suppose, did we talk about which was your favorite to design? Do you have a specific mini game that was your favorite or least favorite on the flip side?
That's a good question, actually. The least favorite I could easily pick out the text adventure. The text adventure is
Mm.
just an absolute mess of code. Uh, I don't know
It's
if you guys
it's a
know.
lot like happening within
Mhm.
like a short like time frame that's running out.
Ooh.
It's pretty impressive to have like that breadth of content within a micro game.
Yeah, the problem is that it's like 1,000 lines of code, right? Because it's like
Yeah,
every
I'm
every
sure.
like
Yeah.
scenario for the text adventure is just like a giant dictionary. Uh,
Mhm.
if you're unfamiliar with coding, that's just like variables with a variable attached to them, like basically just like every room you can enter, everything you can interact with is in one giant disgusting nest, and it's awful to maintain. It's awful to try to find bugs in, and it's awful.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Favorite is a good question. I'm not sure if I have a good answer to. I like I had a lot of fun making the chess mini game. Funny enough,
Mhm.
Mm.
and a big reason for that is because I overcame a challenge in a very lazy way. Because initially, like the chess mini game was just going to be okay, I'm going to code the rules of chess and I'm going to generate a chessboard on the fly. I'm going to pick a piece and I'm going to determine what all the valid legal moves are. And that's insane. That's fucking insane. That's way too much to do uh, for such a small little mini game. So I thought to myself, there's got to be an easier way to do this. And I just made like a Python script that took some like chess libraries and generated 15 different chessboards with all the pieces laid out, and it would generate along with those chessboards the legal moves that every piece could make. And that
Mhm.
way I'd just pick from there and pick a
Wow.
piece, and it's already done for me. I don't have to think about it, which is that's like the kind of like rewarding experience that programming gives you,
Yeah.
because programming is not necessarily about making everything clean and proper and perfectly functioning. Sometimes it's about finding like a really dirty shortcut that works like stupidly well.
I can understand that. Very cool. Um, they ask, how deep down the typing rabbit hole did you guys go down with designing a game like this?
Not horribly, like truly, I feel like I didn't go down
You weren't
enough.
checking out books. You weren't
Yeah.
playing
No,
all of Mavis Beacon's Teaches Typing.
truly, the one thing I did very late into development that I wish I had done earlier was consider that different countries have different layouts for their
Mm.
keyboards. Uh, I'm in Canada, but we just type with US QWERTY, and so do all Americans. So I'm like, well, perfect. I know what my keyboard looks like. I know where the dollar sign is. That's perfect for the swear game is the one that uses the dollar sign. It turns out if you're in the UK, the dollar sign is like really, really annoying to type out. But it does expect you to type it out the way you would on your keyboard. It just asks for the
Oh,
symbol, right?
interesting. Yeah.
Uh, I had to fix a bug actually, and I think this is one of the more recent patches where I eventually learned, okay, other countries have different keyboard layouts. I should consider this. There's the make art mini game where you have to like draw out the pattern
Mm.
on the keyboard.
Hmm.
Uh, Somebody from Sweden told me they couldn't get the achievement for that mini game because one of the keys they would press it and it just nothing would happen. And that key, like that mini game, like gives you your keyboard layout, which was annoying to program, but it was worthwhile. But it also had to work, so I had to switch my keyboard to like Swedish and figure
Wow.
out what was going wrong. You know?
How interesting. Very cool though. All right.
Yeah,
I
so
don't,
safe to say
yeah.
you're not a Dvorak user.
I was gonna say, I don't understand this question.
It's just a different key layout for
Yeah.
maximum speed. You change out all your
Oh.
keys. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought
I have heard of this.
there was a point in time where I thought about just switching to Dvorak just for the sake of testing it on my game, but I didn't want to relearn how to type. You
Yeah.
know?
You gotta do it all over again. Like, I don't think it's
Hire
gonna
a
gain that much
consultant.
speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
secret Dvorak difficulty mode, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, one of those key aficionados who switches out every single keycap.
Hmm.
I'm sure they'll let you know how it is, but anyways.
Supposedly the game should work fine in Dvorak, and I have to wonder if players who play on Dvorak will be better at the leaderboards. You know.
I mean, I feel like they would be the ones that are both better at it and also the ones that leave the reviews like, this is not perfectly efficient. This is not suiting my typing needs. If you could change these things, but
Not
we'll see. I'm sure
recommended, 1,000
it's gonna
hours on
pour in,
record.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Um, oh, okay, you kind of talked about this as well with your anecdote about, keyboards from the UK. But they asked the swearing mini game at the time of coming up with the idea, did it occur to you that these special characters are often neglected by most software, making it an interesting learning experience, or was it all for the bit?
Yeah, it's funny. Like on the design side, like I talked about this. You know, I didn't really think about the fact that these symbols will be in different places on other keyboards, but from
Hmm.
like a software side, like it was actually really easy to implement. Godot has like a lot of great functions for just returning like the exact key a user has pressed, whether that's like positionally on the keyboard or what the character actually is, what the Unicode value is, things like that. So it was really easy to program. The problem is that I failed to consider where these keys are on different layouts.
Yeah.
Mhm. How soon did you get feedback from like international players? Was that pretty quick
Uh,
after release, or was it during testing?
it was pretty much as soon as I launched the Next Fest demo in
Oh,
October,
okay.
because that did not account for foreign keyboards at all.
Hmm.
So a lot
That's
of
so interesting.
UK
Yeah.
people specifically were complaining. I think most like if you're speaking in like a non-English speaking country, then I think you're at least I have to assume you're used to like switching between uh Serbian and English, US QWERTY.
Hmm.
Whereas
Sure.
like if you're in like the UK or if you're in Spain, where they have like the same alphabet, then suddenly it's like, well, that's not where I expect that key to be. So it's something I had failed to consider until it was in people's hands.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, I suppose. Okay. Do you have well, what was your first, and do you have a favorite typing game?
It's funny. I was trying to. I read that question before, and I was trying to think: have I played a typing game? And I have. The first and only typing game I've like basically ever put any time into. There was like a Pokemon typing game on the DS, which is an awful way to learn how to type because you're
I was
just
gonna
like
say,
typing on
how
like
would
the
you even
stylus on the
yeah.
screen. But
That's
I
funny.
guess by process of elimination, it has to be my favorite because I
Hmm.
I really haven't played many typing games.
That sounds abysmal. That
Yeah,
sounds horrible.
I think it's like useful for like a child to learn where the keys are
like
on the keyboard.
positioning of,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
suppose
Yeah, but
it's
this
something
like
to
there's
take
no
from there.
transferable skill or anything at all. Outside of
Yeah.
like you can like look at a keyboard and be like, oh, that looks like what Pikachu was showing me the other day. Yeah.
You do have to
Oh,
consider
weird.
like this is the problem with like testing the game with like kids at my old job was kids don't know how to type. They don't know where the keys are on the keyboard. So they see like, oh, I've got to type O. Let me look down. Where's O? Where's O? Oh, let me hit O. Okay, what have I got to type next? And it's just that over and over.
Hmm.
It's wild. So wild.
Yeah,
Oh.
I guess so. Yeah, just the memorization. Pikachu would
Hmm.
help with that. Maybe I was too harsh on Pikachu. I take it all back. All right, and final question from Bun. What is your word per minute? And are you a practicing blind touch home row typer?
I did a typing test today to figure out my WPM. It depends on whether I need to like include the punctuation. I'm a very like not great typer,
Hmm,
but I'm averaging from like 80 to like 95 WPM, which is all right. It's
that's
not bad
good.
by any means. Uh, in terms of like home row, not really. I learned to type by like being on the family computer and like typing YouTube comments and joining forums and
Being
typing in
online.
the forums, right? So like I very much just kind of learned to type out of necessity as opposed to being taught. So
Hmm.
I type very weird. Like I don't use like either of my pinkies when I type. I uh just freeform it and just know how to do it. But despite that, like, I don't have to look at the keyboard. Like, it's all there. Like, I know
Hmm.
where the keys
For
are
sure. Yeah.
without having to look. I'm not like a hunt and pecker.
Yeah, for sure.
Fantastic.
That was going to be one of my questions is your experience with like edutainment typing games, but yeah, it seems like you didn't have that. Didn't spend hours in the
Skipped
computer
over it.
lab. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Too
Very
Most
good.
of
lazy.
the computer lab games I played as like a kid in elementary school were just like use the mouse and like learn math. You
Mhm.
never
Yeah,
had
I
to
was
touch
playing
the
Math
keyboard.
Yeah.
Blaster. Yeah,
Yeah,
some
that
Clue
kind of stuff.
Finders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you help us find the mystery? Only if you can figure out what 2 + 2 is. Yeah.
I did. On a side note, I do like the just the way that your game, and I mentioned this earlier, injects so much personality within like a short amount of time with these games. I think that math mini game is such a great example where it's like it's conveying so much anxiety with like the way the screen is like wobbling. And it's just like the most simple arithmetic, but I just I love that.
It was
Um,
important to me too to include some mini games that I would be bad at. So the math one and the spelling one are ones that I consistently, even to this day, like fail. Uh because I'm not good at spelling and I'm not good at math. But I gotta give a challenge that not even I can overcome.
and we
Mhm.
love that.
Gotta keep the
Yeah.
leaderboard fair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
Well, with that, I think everyone listening now should, if not wish list and wait for someone to gift it to you, buy the game on Steam as soon as possible. Maybe while I'm still talking to you, if you could just fire that up,
Mm-hmm.
put that in your card, that would be fantastic. And for anyone who's interested in what you're up to, where can viewers and listeners find you online?
Um, Generally, I'm pretty much just on Blue Sky nowadays. You can find me at
Mm.
Nice.
GIRAMBQUAMB.com on Blue Sky. You can follow me on Bandcamp if you want to listen to music. If you want to get
Yes,
the
actually.
typing game soundtrack or listen to other things I've written. That's basically it.
Very
All right.
good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Check it out, go through the entire GIRAMQUAMB discography, watch those old YTPMVs, leave a comment, just
I know.
word for word exactly from many, many typing games. He will love it and be very appreciative. But
Oh
yeah,
man. Yeah.
thanks.
And as always, we'll leave our information and links below. But Aiden, thank you so much for coming on. It's
Yeah,
been a real
thank you.
pleasure talking with you.
Thanks for
Yeah,
making the
thank you.
game.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we're wishing you the best in the future. And if you'd ever want to come on again to talk about
yeah,
anything, really.
that's your secret project. We'll be here.
Yeah, exactly. Waiting with bated breath. But
Hell yeah.
yeah. Until then, everybody else, take care of yourselves.
Mm.
Um, it
Keep
feels
on
strange.
gaming
It feels
in the
strange to say keep
free
on gaming
world.
in the free world these
Well, if you're not
days.
in the free world, you're not allowed to game. That's just the way I didn't write the
Um,
rules, It was Nardwar. We just
but really,
co-opted it.
go out there, create things, make things in this age of AI generated slop dominating everything.
Hmm.
Be like Aiden. Go out there and create. Uh,
Hmm.
and until then, we will see you next time. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.